Hello everyone, my name is Kiva and I teach people how to achieve the luxe look for less. In today's video, I'm giving you 6 interior design tips for the indecisive person. Do you want a beautiful home but you're struggling with the execution? Well, today's video is made for you. Before we jump into today's video, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and check me out on Instagram. And I do want to thank Wayfair for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to tell you a little bit about their new web series called Swapping Carts. You're gonna love it, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Let's get into it. So if you're indecisive and struggling with your space, don't worry. That's okay. There are a lot of tips and tricks that you can implement that will help you craft a home that works right now and works in the future. So let's just jump right in. The first interior design tip for the indecisive person is to look to your wardrobe for inspiration. Fashion and interior design are very, very deeply intertwined. So if there is a color that you see repeat in your wardrobe all the time, if there's a texture, if there's a fiber that you see repeating over and over again in your wardrobe, that might mean that you really, really like it. For example, you guys see me and my clothes all the time. You're like, Kiva, you have like 100 sweater vests. I do, but you see me wear a lot of black, white, beige, neutral colors. Those are the colors that I really enjoy. I love to wear them. You'd also notice that you see those same colors in my home. When you think about my jewelry, have you ever seen me in jewelry that isn't gold? No. And that's why you see a ton of gold in my house, via my task lamps, via my mirrors. All of the colors that I love to dress in, I also love to have in my home. So if you're really struggling with determining a color palette for your space, look at your clothes. Are the colors that you see all the time? For example, what if blue, green, and black were really predominant colors in your wardrobe? And you might be saying, how do those work together? Well, that's actually a transitional color palette. Think about Studio McGee. There is a lot of blue in the rugs. There's a lot of green in the throw pillows, in the greenery. But you also see a lot of black detailing in the pots and the books and the other things you use for styling. Not all of the colors in your color palette have to be used equally. You can have accent colors, you can have primary colors, but you should really look to your wardrobe for inspiration, because if you like something there, you're probably going to like it in your home. Because just as your clothes are a reflection of you, so is your home. So that's a really, really good place to start. And the next interior design tip for the indecisive person is to step back and try and have some fun. I know, I'm turning into a motivational speaker, but this is like the most important part of today's video. The design process can be so overwhelming. You're spending a lot of time and money and effort, and sometimes you forget to stop and have fun. Interior design is about creating a space that perfectly represents you, that also makes you happy. This is where you spend time with family and friends. This is where you have all of your important moments. So creating this space should be a good time. And I'm constantly reminded about how fun interior design really is when I watch Swapping Carts on Wayfair's YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with Wayfair, Wayfair is an online e-commerce website where they have the perfect home decor for you. You guys hear me go on and on about Wayfair all the time. Wayfair honestly was pivotal in me starting this channel because they helped me find the perfect products for my space. So Wayfair has a myriad of web-based series, and you can find them all on the Wayfair YouTube channel. So in Swapping Carts, basically what you do is you swap carts. You need a room design, and they bring your family, your friend, or someone else on, and you create rooms for one another. Instead of it being all high stress about, getting everything perfect, it's really about having fun. I think my friend will like this. I think my mom will like this. I wonder how well they know me. I wonder if they'll craft the perfect space for me. It's all about having fun, and it's all about having a good laugh, because it takes the load off. Interior design should be fun. And if you're forgetting to have fun, you're really harming yourself in the process. In one of my favorite episodes of Swapping Carts on the Wayfair YouTube channel, these two men get together to create man caves for one another. And man caves, as an interior stylist, are my favorite thing to design because they're so fun. And one of the guys' name is Colin, and his last name also starts with a C. So his friend actually picks out a C-shaped lamp for him. It's so fun, you're like, CC. It's so silly, it's so fun, and the friend actually ends up loving it. Colin loves that lamp, and maybe that's not something he would have chosen for himself, but he loved it in the end, and they were able to craft spaces for one another that the other person really loved, and more importantly, they were able to do it together, and it really strengthened their friendship. And I love that about design, and I don't want you to forget to do that. I love that Swapping Carts is all about having fun, and you know what? I would actually love to swap carts with my wife, because even though I'm an interior stylist, I'd love to see what she'd come up with. I'm not sure it'd be as black and white, but it'd be fun to see, so that maybe we could craft a space that better represents the both of us. Who knows? But please go check out Swapping Carts. It's It's so entertaining and it really reminds you to have fun in the design process. It's all about fun. If you take this one tip out of all the tips in today's video, I promise you, you're going to be a little bit less indecisive. Be sure to head on over to the Wayfair YouTube channel to check out an episode of Swapping Carts, and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of Wayfair's amazing content over on YouTube. Like I said, they have Swapping Carts, they have Finishing Touches, and so many other web series that are super fun and entertaining to watch. And of course, I'm going to leave a link down in the description box. You won't regret subscribing. The next tip for the indecisive person is to ask yourself what your home would look like if you had an unlimited budget. I often find that people aren't truly indecisive. They just don't know how to achieve their goals with their budget, because sometimes we have really lofty goals. Sometimes we want our homes to look like Versailles, but we're working with like a McDonald's budget, and that's okay, right? You should not give up your design goals, even if you don't have the means to achieve them right now, because you can still be influenced by those things, even if you can't replicate it at this particular moment in time. For example, if you really like Versailles and you really like the gold, the ornateness, you can buy ornate mirrors, you can add gold leaf to things, you can have more traditional artwork. You could implement those things affordably in your own home right now and still, you know, hit the nail on the head when it comes to that design style. It's okay to have really lofty goals and not really an idea on how to execute it. That's what I'm here for, right? We're all about the looks look for less, and that's exactly what happened to me. I used to say, oh, like I love farmhouse. Farmhouse is it. I want to be the next Joanna Gaines. I love farmhouse, oink, oink, right? I was all into farmhouse. But that's because I was in college and I could get farmhouse things at the Dollar Tree, at Big Lots. It was a design style that I could afford. So I loved farmhouse. When the reality was I didn't like farmhouse. It didn't embody me. It didn't embody my family, but it's what we could afford. So what I started doing and what I want you to do is I want you to work backwards. I want you to say, okay, I have millions and millions of dollars. What would my home look like? Craft that home. Get those luxury items, put them in your cart, make those mood boards, and look at them. Now, don't buy them. Don't buy them now. We're not doing that. But then I want you to find dupes for those items. That's exactly what I did. My bedroom, for example, I love the restoration hardware bedroom look. I like the mirrors on both sides with the nightstand. So what I did is I looked at those mirrors, then I found dupes at IKEA. I found chandeliers that I wanted, and I found chandeliers on Amazon. I found things that looked like those aspirational pieces that worked for my budget. And that's exactly what I want you to do, because you may not be indecisive. You may just feel like your goals are unrealistic, but I'm here to tell you, you can always achieve your goals. You just have to be a little bit more creative about it. And you might also say, hey, I really love contemporary design and my home will look contemporary-ish right now with my budget. And then one day it will look like this. But still decide on the design style. Just because you can't afford your dream design style right now doesn't mean that your house should be empty. It doesn't mean that it should be neutral. You should accrue things over time that work for that dream style. So get some things in there. Don't be afraid to DIY. Don't be afraid to be creative. That is the best thing for you to do. Now, if you're indecisive, I don't want you tackling an entire home at one time. And I see people do this all the time. They're like, hey, Kiva, I want to hire you. Come on over. Let's do my entire house. And I'm like, well, what's your design style? I don't know. What's your favorite color? I don't know. And that's okay. It's okay to not know. But when we're trying to tackle something huge, when we're trying to tackle a huge project, it's overwhelming, right? We get so overwhelmed, we don't even want to do it anymore. So if you're indecisive, start with one room. Make decisions for that room. It's going to build your confidence. When you have confidence, you can make good decisions, and therefore you are no longer indecisive. So start with one room. What is your color palette going to be? What textures do you like? What furniture pieces do you want? What do you want your budget to look like? Become really firm with all of these things. Learning to be firm, learning to have parameters and to stick with those parameters are going to help you be decisive. Because when you're indecisive, you also tend to spend a lot of money. And I never want you doing that unnecessarily. You worked hard for your money. Let's put it somewhere good. So start with one room. It can be a playroom. It can be a room that no one else is ever going to see, so that you can build your confidence there. And if you make some mistakes, it's okay. So if it's a bedroom, say, I need a bed, nightstands, dresser, and that's it, right? You only need a few things there. Then the color's going to be this. The color's going to be that. I want to put up this trim. I want to have this style of light. Make all those decisions and pull the trigger on it. Buy those things. Don't just design it. Buy the things, put them in there, do the install. Don't be a 75%er. Do 100% of the project, because then you're going to have a really good template for the rest of your home. You're going to feel confident in your decisions, and you're going to feel comfortable making decisions for part of the home that other people see. Find a design style for that one room that's going to work for the entire home. So don't start with a man cave, don't start with a kid's room, start with even a powder room. Start with a guest room, start with a room that will reflect what's going on in the rest of the house, and then everything will come after that. The next interior design tip for indecisive people is to stick to the basics. So everyone now, they want to put down the intricate tile. They want to get, rainbow sofas. If you're indecisive, don't do that. I want you to stick to the basics because I want you to buy things that you can switch up. You can switch up without having to spend a lot of money. So when it comes to your kitchen, instead of getting black cabinets, instead of getting really Scandinavian cabinets, I want you to get the basic all white kitchen. You're like, Kiva, that's boring. Yes, it's boring in itself, but you can accessorize. But if you get something that's black or very modern or very farmhouse, you're kind of stuck. If you have a farmhouse kitchen and you put a black pot in it, it still looks farmhouse. If you have a white kitchen and you put a black pot in it with something really sculptural, then it looks contemporary. If you have a white kitchen and you put a lot of wooden cutting boards in it, then your house is looking a little bit more transitional. Then it's looking more modern, organic. It allows your space to be more customizable so that if you're indecisive, and you're going to stay indecisive, your house will still work no matter how your design style changes. I firmly believe that there are people in this world who will always be evolving in terms of their design style, and that's not a bad thing, but we want a space that is always kind of like a blank slate for that. That also means that in your kitchen, for example, I don't want you to get cabinets that don't have pulls, because if your design style changes, those pulls are actually really what help relay your design style in a kitchen. I don't want you to get a, $7,000 chandelier, because that's not going to be something that you can really easily switch out. I don't want you to get modular sofas. I want you to get really basic sofas that work for every single design style, because then it's about the pillows you add, the throw blankets, the people who are sitting on the sofa. You want to get really bland furniture that you can accessorize, because those accessories are more inexpensive. Those accessories are easier to move and resell, and those accessories can change as often as you'd like them to. Everyone is saying, we don't like the basics, but the basics are basic for a reason. The basics work no matter what. If you have something that works no matter what, even if you're indecisive, your home is going to look good temporarily. In the meantime, while you're finding your design style, while you're finding the money to achieve your design style, your home is still going to look good, and that's what we want. Because we never want our home to start feeling like a house when we're in between. Because finding the perfect furniture, finding the money to pay for the perfect furniture, making art, all of those things take time, and you want to be comfortable in the meantime. Now, if you're indecisive, that means that you like or don't like just about everything. It's the fact of the matter. If you are indecisive, you just don't know, but you do know something. It kind of goes back to the point on fashion. If you're indecisive, I want you to do an inventory of the things you already know, whether that be kitchen accessories, living room accessories, bedroom accessories. Look at the things you already own. Ask yourself, are those things that I own because someone gave them to me? Do I like them? Do I like the things I have, or do I just have them because they were given to me? Do I hate the things that I have? If I hate them, why don't I like them? What facets of the things that I have do I like? What facets of the things do I not like? If I had to get rid of all of my furniture, what piece would I feel sad about parting with? I want you to ask yourself all of these deep questions. Yes, I really believe that you have deep emotional feelings about your furniture, because a lot of us do. A lot of us have memories connected with our furniture. I want you to ask yourself those questions and kind of figure out, okay, what pieces resonate with you the most? Because again, when you find the things that resonate with you the most, then you're able to build a style on top of that. For example, if you have a really, really deep connection to like a brown recliner or something like that, and you can't part with it, I'm not saying throw it away. Okay, we love the brown recliner. Maybe we will go into an industrial style because they have a lot of brown leather. Maybe I'll put a Chesterfield in there. Maybe I will put a pool table. Maybe I'll add some brick. Work with the things that you currently have and build off of that. If you don't have the means to start all over, if budget wasn't the thing holding you back, if it was actually just finding your design style, there has to be something in your home right now that you do enjoy. So take that thing and build from there. At some point, you're just going to have to say, this is going to be my design style, and that's it. I know you're like, I'm indecisive. Aren't you trying to help me? I am helping you by telling you the truth about your home. You're going to have to find a design style and run with it. And then you'll feel more confident. Living in the in-between, I feel like, is what breeds more indecisiveness. When you're just looking at 4 blank walls, you're like, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. Well, it's because you've done nothing. But you'll find that a lot of people, once they've decorated their house once, they're like, okay, I'm okay with this, right? And we want you to feel so overwhelmed with it, but we at least need to find something that you're okay with first. If after you've looked at all of your things and you still don't really care, you don't have any attachments to anything, you just want to find a design style, this is what I want you to do. Look at the items you already have, group them by design styles. Whichever design style has the most amount of items that do belong to that style, that's your new interior design style. That's the style we're running with because it's going to require the least amount of effort and the least amount of money to solidify that design style. So if you have a ton of leather furniture, we're going with industrial. If you have a ton of velvet, glam, and glitzy furniture, we're going with glam. If you have a ton of, shadow boxes with shells, if you have a lot of wood, if you have a lot of slip-covered things, a lot of blue, we're going with coastal. Just do an inventory of the things you already have and choose a design style. If you don't have a strong tie to interior design, you just want to pick something, group your items together and go with the group that is easiest for you to achieve. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. Those were 6 interior design tips for the indecisive person. I know interior design can be daunting, but if you apply any of these tips, I promise you it's going to be a more exciting and fun and just generally enjoyable experience for you. And I know you're going to love crafting your dream space. Please let me know down in the comments, are you going to apply any of these tips? Let me know how it works out for you. I really want to know. If you liked today's video, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and check me out on Instagram. And again, be sure to go check out Swapping Carts over on the Wayfair YouTube channel. I've put a link down in the description box so you can check out all of their amazing web series over on YouTube. Subscribe to their channel, you won't regret it. But until next time, have a beautiful day.